Are you an acupuncturist who wants to focus more on doing what he or she loves and spending less times on, having to deal with kind of like the annoying Google Ads interface or setting up campaigns or just not knowing why these campaigns don't work? Well, that's exactly why we're here right now. I'm going to show you the exact setup that our clients oftentimes pay us thousands of dollars to have in their account to get high converting leads 24/7 from Google. Now, this will be a step by step video. So, I highly recommend you go into your own Google Ads account and follow the steps to do it on your own. Pause the video anytime you want, and of course, you can always use the comments below to ask us any questions that you'd like, and we'd get back to them ASAP. Because, of course, we understand that not everybody might want to work with an agency. Some people want to do it on their own. Some people have the capacity to do it on their own, right? They just want to learn new skills, and that's absolutely okay. I'm a big advocate for making sure that when you run a business, you know a little bit of everything, right? So let's dive right into it. All right, we are here live in the Google Ads interface. This is our practice account. I very much recommend you also open up your own Google Ads account. It's under ads.google.com in order to follow along. Now, when you get to your account, you're either going to be in this interface or in the campaigns interface. You can either click on plus new campaign here or on campaigns here, and then on the blue plus, both lead you to the same interface, right? So the goal here is to create a search campaign that works for you, that doesn't need your attention every minute of the day, and that you maybe check, like once a week. Typically, we want our clients to not spend more than 30 minutes a week on their campaigns, right? Because anything else really does not fit their busy schedule anymore. So let's make sure we'll create your campaign without a goals guidance, and we'll start off with a search campaign, right? And you might already see some goals or conversions here. If not, that's okay as well. We do not necessarily need conversion tracking here. It's good, it's recommended, but I'm also going to link a video below this one that might show you why you may not necessarily need conversion tracking when you get started, and why that might even be a disadvantage or make your ads more expensive. So let's click on continue. We're going to want website visits, right? And in this case, we're just going to put your URL here. So we're just going to choose a random URL here. I, at this point of recording a video, do not know if this URL exists. We're going to give the baby a name. So we're going to call it search and probably general, because maybe you might be offering different kinds of acupuncture services. Maybe you might be helping people here from lower pain, from fibromyalgia, from all kinds of like issues that you can imagine, right? But we're going to keep it general for now. And I always add the month and the year. So we have a general campaign draft here. But what we'll do is we will actually, let's see what we got here. This is looking good. We'll use this. You will see almost the same interface when you start yours. Here you might see conversions. Now click on change bid strategy, and you want to set that to clicks, right? We don't want to focus on conversions in the beginning because your account, if you've never ran Google Ads campaigns before, may not have any data that it can actually base the conversion strategy on. Now this stays as it is, and we click on next. Then untick the box next to Google Display Network because we want to create two different campaigns. Ideally, you want to create a separate search and a separate display campaign. Putting both of them together in one campaign is not ideal because they have different audience targeting options, they have different optimization options, and also the performance metrics are completely different by how we judge and evaluate them. Then add your location. Ideally, you want to add a location that's probably the radius around your practice. So most likely, your patients are coming from, let's say, a 15, 20, whatever mile radius. So you can click on advanced search here, and you can go to radius and then say 20 miles, and you can enter your address, right? So let's go to, we'll do Columbus, and we'll do 20 miles around Columbus, right? But of course, in your case, you want to enter your practice's address and then choose whatever mile radius fits. In the location options, you want to have presence, people in or regularly in your target included locations selected. If you choose the first option, it will also include people that have shown interest in your location but actually might not even live there or work there. Then choose languages. If you are setting this campaign up for the US, you definitely want to target English and Spanish because this is information about the user's browser language, not the actual language they sometimes tend to speak, right? So make sure you choose at least English and Spanish. In Switzerland, it could be German, English, French, and Italian, for example. In India, you might want to include, Hindi, Gujarati, English, and so on, right? Then we have audience segments. We leave these out for now. They're not relevant in this case. Then for the ad rotation, we want to change it to do not optimize. It's probably set on optimize because that way we can let the ads and the headlines, the description, all of them rotate and make up our own decision about which ones work best. If we choose optimize, then oftentimes from the beginning, Google chooses not necessarily the best performing assets, but the ones that bring Google the most money, right? So now we want to change the ad group name here. Probably see ad group 1. So we want to say, maybe we're going to target people that are looking just for acupuncture near me, right? And you can put in your website's final URL or enter products and services to advertise, and you will get recommendations. Let's see if this works here. Sometimes it requires a final URL. In this case, it does. Okay, great. So some of this already looks pretty good. I don't know what auricular therapy is. I'm going to remove this for now. Typically, I would otherwise research it. I would not use acupuncture alone because if somebody just searches for acupuncture, I don't know what they want. Are they actually ready to book an appointment, or do they just want to research a little bit in general, right? So I might want to add acupuncture near me, right? Or top rated acupuncture near me. All the others look good. I would take herbs out. I would put those in a separate campaign. For now, we only want to have any acupuncture-related terms related here. Soulless acupuncture, I would have to research that. We're going to keep this out right now as well. And then, as always, Google shows you the best options almost in a hidden place, are very small, right? So we want to make sure we choose the match type phrase match. If we keep it in broad match, then only one word out of the keyword phrase needs to be present in the user's search query in Google in order for your ad to be eligible to show up. Now, the problem with this is somebody could type in here, for example, best Chinese restaurant. Your ad would be eligible to show up just because it says best Chinese in it, right? But that wouldn't be useful to you. So we want to make sure we keep it useful, and we want to make sure that all the words of the phrase are present in the search query. So we are going to put these signs that I tend to always forget the name in English because English isn't my first language, so bear with me. So apostrophes, I don't know what they're called. Anyway, so they put them into phrase match, and that way we make sure that all the words from the search term have to be present. Now here we are going to put our URL, and that is the URL of the landing page that you want to advertise. Ideally, it's not just the domain, it is some sort of sub-landing page where you talk more about your services, right? So I could say here, top rated, and then call us now, right? Or schedule appointment and so on. There's multiple options. Next, you'll go into adjusting the headlines. So one of my favorite tools to easily come up with headlines is, for example, Claude.ai. Now, you can simply pack the text of your website or your landing page into a PDF document, upload it in Claude, and it will then give you suggestions based on that landing page copy, right? So it's super, super useful. Just make sure you tell it to limit the number of characters, including spaces, to 30, because each headline can have a maximum of 30 characters, right? Make sure you mention anything that's relevant to your customers, right? Mention how many reviews you got, mention how many happy customers you got, right? So for example, I could say let's say 5K plus satisfied patients. I can mention a zip code here if that's specific to a zip code for your audience. I can mention, like, for example, 11 plus treatments available. I could say we have 19 plus doctors working with us, right? Whatever fits for your practice, mention it here, right? See what you highlight, see what your customers highlight. A good resource for that is also always your reviews, right? What is it that your patients keep highlighting in terms of your reviews? And then you simply repurpose that and bring it forward here in your ad. Now, when you fill out all the headlines, I really recommend going for all the 15 headlines that you have so that you max out the space that you can use and that you can test a lot of different ad copy variations, then move on to descriptions. And here you can add up to 4 descriptions, right? And what you can already see here is that we also added a testimonial, right? So again, go back to your testimonials and see whichever testimonial you can make fit here. And then, of course, make sure that you can add the name where possible. If for some clients the name wasn't comfortable to share, then just make it a first letter and point, right? If you feel like it's not fitting, then try to shorten it. For example, and I can always replace that with this character. All right. And again, add here 4 of description lines. You can also go to Claude and say, hey, now please give me 4 descriptions with each less than 90 characters or maximum 90 characters, including spaces based on my website copy, right? Make sure to max them out as much as possible because the more space you take on, the less space remains for your competitors and the better quality your ad will have. Now, once you've verified your business name and logo, you will get access to this field, and a little field will pop up here, and you can add your business name and logo as well. In terms of any site links, any kind of like assets, do not take care of them here right now, because what we've seen happen quite a lot of times is that when people add them here, there's going to be a bug when saving the ad later, right? Instead, what I want you to do is click on done, go to next, and then what you'll see as well on the right-hand side a little bit, my video might be in front of it right now, but you see that little 84 here? That's a percentage, and it's going to tell you the campaign optimization score, right? And then below that, it's giving you the weekly estimates, the weekly clicks, the average cost per click, and so on, right? Now, of course, as Google is, it wants me to confirm that it's me. So let me quickly take care of that. And I can show you the next step. There we go. And then it asks you here to set your custom budget. Typically, a good custom budget to start with is about $31, euros, whatever, a day. That gives you really enough space to test the campaign. If that feels like a stretch right now, then this is always a good sign that there's most likely other aspects in your business that you should do first before launching such a campaign, right? If you just want to kind of like test the waters a little bit, then by all means, go lower, go by like 11, 16, and so on, just to get a feel for it, right? And what you'll actually also see, and I'll do it again in case you haven't noticed it, look at the average cost per click here. And what happens when I increase it? It actually goes up. So the more money you spend, the higher your cost per click is, right? Which is, well, I'm not going to comment on it right now. Let's just take it as it is. We cannot change it, right? So again, if you just want to test the waters, feel free to choose a lower amount and you get an estimation here that you can work with. And then you can click on next. You will have an overview of the campaign here. It's checking for errors. Obviously, it's telling you to add the site links here now. The assets, again, do that after you're done with the campaign. And then once that's set, you just click on publish campaign and you're pretty much good to go. In case you see any errors, which can happen as well, especially if you're doing this for the first time, just look at where the error is pointing you. Typically, Google is pretty good in terms of saying, hey, your error is in the keywords or your error is in the ad text and so on. And then you just review that piece and then go back
again to this interface and click on Publish Campaign. Of course, if you encounter any error, feel free to comment below the video, and we're more than happy to help you and see where you're stuck so we can help you move forward.
Now, once you are in your Google Ads account and you've published your campaign, it will show up here. If it doesn't, if it is paused, check out this button here, campaign status enabled, and see if by clicking on any of the other buttons, it's going to show up for you. Now, once you got that, you just click on a campaign, which is going to show up here. And then on the left-hand side, click on assets, and you will see a whole range of assets you can add to the campaign. These are additional pieces of information that make the ad bigger, provide people with more information about your services, and so on. In general, I recommend using as many as possible. Most likely, acupuncturist clients that we work with are able to use all of them except for the price extension, because we in general don't want our clients to compete on price, right? Now, if you start off with the site link, what you will see is that, let's see, you can create a blue plus and then choose your ad group and your campaign. So click on your campaign name, click on the ad group, which is going to show up here, and then create the site link. We always want to do it based on an ad group level because that just allows for a much better match. The site link text is the headline, right? So it might be that you want to lead people to a page where you talk about customer reviews, right? Or patient reviews, depending on how you call them. This is one sentence here, right? And then you add the URL here. So it could be that your URL is myacupuncturepractice.com/reviews, right? And then you can see here, you can say here, read more about what 500 plus happy patients have to say about us. For example, simple statement. You can also always see what is on your landing page and then copy paste that here and adjust it. Now, typically four site links can be shown for any ad at any time. I would recommend creating at least 5 to 6 so you give Google a little bit of a variability on what it can show. Oftentimes people also ask me, how does Google decide which one of them to show? Typically, in the beginning, it just tries to show them all and then assess according to the data which ones work best, and then it keeps showing the ones more often that work better. In this case, working better is judged by having a better click-through rate. Then I also recommend adding a call-out extension or asset, right? Again, click on the blue plus. These are additional pieces of information where you can then add certain aspects that are important to know about your business. Also here, make sure to add them on an ad group level and add at least 7 to 8 of these. Now, then add a structured snippet. This can be very useful to showcase all the kinds of services that you offer, right? Maybe you offer different kinds of treatments, or you offer different kinds of treatments for different kinds of types of pain, right? So like lower back pain, fibromyalgia, whatever else is out there, right? Add at least like 3 to 4 values here. The more you can add, the better. Call, obviously, right? Add your phone number. Lead form, it's good to use, but not a must-have in the beginning. Location, definitely add your location because people in this industry always want to know that, hey, this is somebody that's like close to me. I don't have to drive 3 hours, right? And then promotion, add that if you have like a promotion for first-time patients, right? Maybe you say, hey, all my first-time patients get like $200 off the first session, right? Whatever it is, add it here. The more assets you add, the better. All right, that was it. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and comment below. What was the most important insight for you? Or maybe some more questions showed up. Let us know. We'd be excited to hear from you, and we'll make sure to get back to you as soon as possible.